we're going to start digging into each quad. So let's go to quad 2, for example. We're running a dispersion analysis. And we start looking at what's the dispersion around certain products, around with customers, et cetera. So this raises questions. We want to find our pricing power within the quad. Can outlier products profitably absorb a price increase? We've got a lot of products that are down below. Can we bring them up? Okay, that's the first place to start. Secondly, what other products, even high margin products, should be priced higher? Do we have products in there that we've got a lot of value and we need to unlock the value? And then finally, where is our pricing power within the quad? So the way that I propose companies go about doing that is using something that we call the PPAT, Pricing Power Assessment Tool. If you think of Porter's 5 forces, going back a little ways, we use what we call the 5 C's. The 5 C's drive pricing power: customer, cost, conditions, capacity, and competition. So we use a scoring methodology. We actually score those things, and we score products based on the 5 C's. And we come up with a score, and if a product score is high and you got a lot of pricing power, you're going to take it. If a product score is low, you're not going to take it. So you could apply that. But let's say that you don't have the time, the resources, or the interest from senior management to deploy that. Well, then we can move to stakeholder input. Let's get the teams together that are closest to the customer, i.e. sales, right, senior management, and let's score our products based on stakeholder input. So here I've got some different products, and we've scored them on a scale from 1 to 10. Some have scored a 2, some have scored a 10. Where it's a 10, we've got more pricing power. Where it's a 2, we've got less. So we're going to be more aggressive with the products that we have a 10 with. And then you basically build out your price increase strategy around those different scores. And so you're going to take up, for example, parts and automation 10%, but wire and cable only 1%. You might do this over 1 year. You might do this over 2 years. You might do this over 3 years. You have to figure out the journey as you march to that 3.7%. Okay? That's part of the vision. Now, I want to move on to the final piece, which is actually layering within the quads. So if you think of segmentation, micro-segmentation, a pricing matrix, right, where you've got products and customers and you've scored and you've got high margin products in one corner, low margin in the other corner. What we're going to do is deploy micro-segmentation within each quad. So we're actually going to take the quad 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to have different margin expectations, but we're even within the quad. So what you can see here is at the top left corner, we have our lowest pricing power, our largest customers buying our largest products, okay, all the way down to the bottom right where we should be having our highest margins, right? Our smallest customers buying our smallest products, okay? So this is the alignment we should see. You see the yellows going to the reds, going to the blues, going from lowest down to highest. And then within the quad, you can see that there's some variation. Well, the next step that we do is, and we've got to identify within quad 1, which 80s products have the highest pricing power, which 80s customers are adding the most value, deserve the best price, right? You have your super tanker customers in quad 1. You know that they're going to be getting the best price. But then you have other 80s, and they're not nearly like a super tanker. They're going to pay a higher price, okay? So we have this structure. This is the ideal world. Okay, we want to layer in segmentation attributes to get to scoring. So, because not all your customers, 80s customers, are of equal value. Not all your 20s customers are equally costly to serve. What's the reality that we find when we do this? It's a mess. We got, you can see in this picture, we've got in the bottom right, we've got all sorts of yellow in quad 4. Those are situations where we're giving really low prices to customers that are non-strategic for products that are non-strategic, okay? And where we're adding tons of complexity to our business. That's how we end up with that unprofitability. Up in the left corner, you see the opposite effect, okay, where we've got some very high prices that are perhaps making us uncompetitive. So we want to fix that. So what you do is you start the process of actually layering in segmentation, and we do this through product scoring and customer scoring, our ways of going about that. There's lots of literature on microsegmentation and building matrices and all those kinds of things. You know, I'm sure you've all seen it one time or another. You've read it if you haven't. There's certainly lots of published literature on the topic, okay? So what we found by doing this is that all of a sudden, we can start actually identifying the opportunities within Quad 1 to go after price improvement. We know where to go in Quad 2, we know where to go in Quad 3, we know where to go in Quad 4, and now you're on a multi-year journey to realigning your business with your business strategy. And that's how you get the 3.7%. And that's the kind of results that we've seen for clients who are actually on the journey executing it. They're committed 80-20 businesses. I wouldn't say that, you know, gee, we just arrived with a pricing, you know, a new pricing strategy and here it is, go for it. There's a lot of business improvement that goes with it. There's a lot of discipline and all those kinds of things. But as I said, I think this is something that you folks can deploy immediately in terms of your own analytics. You can do a quad analysis for your business right away. There's nothing stopping you. What are the margins in each quad? Quad 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Okay. So in summary, 80-20 can add significant value to your pricing. Pricing strategy by quad, we ran through that. Quad 1, reduce costs, over-deliver, perhaps some targeted price reductions. Quad 2, raise price to drive them to Quad 1. Quad 3, rechannel, deploy, really focus on your waterfall. And Quad 4, significant price increases and focus on the waterfall. Then we talked about quad quick wins. Look for margin imbalances between the quads and look for dispersion within the quads. And then finally, layering on segmentation, taking customer scoring and product scoring and actually sub-segmenting the quads into something much more meaningful.